Manav as a teenager and even as a child, he was very lively. He had a deep interest in football, and he used to love Messi a lot, Messi and Ronaldo. And we would almost discuss everything with Manav. He would tell them more to his mother because he was more closer to mommy, and because I would be doing a job, I would not be seeing him so too often. Would drop him to the main gate till he was about 10, 11, 12, and then we took very good care of him, and he was a lovely child. His friends loved him, and everybody who knew him loved him. He had great resolve in that way. I mean, once he made up his mind that he should do a particular task, he would really go after it with great energy. And he was very respectful. And if you were to talk to any of his teachers or elders or where we stay, you would find that each one of them would say that he was a very nice child, a good child. And only after he is gone do we realize how much people loved him, I mean, as long as you have something, you don't realize what you have. And once it goes, that is when you start feeling the pain. As parents, pretty open, and he was our only child. So that way he was special to us. And we would discuss everything openly. I mean, there was no, if I can put it that way, any secrets between us. He would tell me or his mom each and everything. There was no reason for either him to hide anything from us, or let's say, or even as parents, we didn't want to hide anything from us. In fact, at the school where he studies, Heritage School, if I can take the name, there's no problem with that, I guess. They taught them pretty early on what is a good touch and a bad touch, and those softer issues. And he would come and tell us what he learned there. And we are absolutely middle class people. I mean, so we gave him extremely fine values. I mean, it was a wonderful day when it started off. I mean, there was absolutely no hint or inkling that something like this would ever happen. And in fact, towards evening, since we both had been locked at home for quite some time, we decided that we should go and buy some pens because and stationery, because we were running out of those. And so we could have ordered that from Amazon or anywhere else, but we thought it's a good time for a father and a son to go out and get them. So we went to the store. We bought 8 pens, okay, and 4 of them black, 4 of them blue. I still remember. And I asked him, why do we need so many? He said, don't you see how many books I fill up? Don't you see? I said, fine, fair enough. So we bought 4 black, 4 white, lots of paper, XYZ, and we came back home. Then we came back home, and then for supper, we had. He wanted to have burgers. Through the day, he had studied pretty well, and he had put in his effort. So we thought, let's have it as a small treat. And the day was perfectly normal, and we didn't expect anything like this to happen. And in fact, we retired early that day in the night at about 10:30, and I and my wife retired to a room, and Manav sat down to study for some time, I guess. So he also called it a day at about 10:30, 10:40 hours. And that is when I guess his friends told him that, hey, something is happening on Instagram. Why don't you check it out? So Manav picked up his phone and tried to look at what was happening there. And what happened between, let's say, 10:45 to 11:30 absolutely changed our life. I mean, so within those about less than an hour, the whole drama unfolded. And Manav was, let me put it very, very clearly as we understand it now, he was actually murdered. I mean, it was a cold-blooded murder which this bunch of girls executed with a nice schemed plan. As we all know that Manav jumped out of the 11th floor balcony, and we saw him from the 11th floor. We for a moment we didn't realize who it could have been, and but then when we gathered our wits, I first went to the bedroom and tried to see if Manav was around there. We didn't find Manav there, and then that is that fear, what if it is Manav down? So we went running down, and we found it was really Manav. And as no father or mother gets to see their child in that state, and so we were not prepared to even acknowledge that something like that could have happened. We took Manav to the Paras hospital. I saw his skull popped off, and they had not still turned over. It was, I think, at 11:58 or 11:59. So as we say that the God or whoever didn't want him to see another day in life, we got to understand what really happened. We understood that there was this Instagram post by which actually triggered it off, and she made the post, and then she coordinated with a good number of her friends so that they can repost it, then tag Manav, circle Manav's name, and forward it to many places. And they all did that for a small amount of time. And they were at one particular time, and this is what I leave to the police and Instagram to come up with. There were about 20 to more than 20 people communicating with Manav. Okay, and most of it was slanderous. Most of it was, let's say, threatening. Most of it was, dangerous. I mean, you and I are mature people, but let's say if you are kept in a closed room and 20 people start howling at you, 20 people start throwing stones at you, 20 people start calling you names. It's not easy even for, let's say, a grown-up like us to take it. He's a 17-year-old boy, and when such a thing happened to him, and he couldn't perhaps take it or absorb it, and anyone would collapse in that kind of a scenario. And these girls actually provoked him to take that extreme step of going up to the balcony and just jumping out. All of which, what they said was actually without any proof. There was no proof they had, and that the girls very smartly say in the middle of this whole thing that, hey, we are calling you a rapist. Hey, we are calling you this, but sorry, we don't have any proof. I mean, you can't do that. It's not justified for any human being to put such an allegation, fully knowing that the impact it will have. It's not that those girls do not know the implications of it. I mean, a girl who is about 17-year-old fully understand what a rape and a molestation is. I mean, they were all well educated. They studied in the wonderful schools like other schools, and they fully understand what they were doing and planning. So it's unlikely that they were, let's say, out of their wits, or they were, they can come up with a story that they were drunk at that point in time and they had no control over the senses. Yeah, I mean,
this was an allegation of an incident which apparently happened 2 years before. So
absolutely. So this is an incident which happened 2.5 years before, or 2 years before, or whatever she claims. I mean, she can claim 5 years before, she can claim 1 day before also. Okay, so that's up to her. So I fail to understand why this girl should talk about this after about 2.5 years and make this allegation. And she was making these allegations and dictating it to a few girls. I mean, we fully understand now that she was on the phone with also 17 years old. So if she's writing something which somebody is forcing her to write, either she's drugged or she's insane.
Also, Manoj, this whole thing happened while this boys' locker room controversy was going on. I mean, the BLR started on 3rd of May, which was a Sunday.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I remember very well that through the day, entire mainstream media, social media were only talking about the boys' locker room, and everybody
Yep.
was writing blogs on how to raise your sons, how to ensure that you give them the best values. Of course, what happened after that was something we all know, that there was a girl who was actually impersonating as a man. But do you think all this was also playing on Manav?
I mean, the way the boys' locker room was handled was absolutely, let's say, how do I put it? I can't even use the word childish. It was stupid. I mean, you first of all try to you first of all you take side of a gender without even getting into it. This great lady Swati Maliwal, she believes that every man born is a rapist, and she goes about proving that and nothing else. So not all men are bad. Not all men are bad. Some men are bad. Some men are good. But there are also good people in the world. So you don't try to label every possible boy you see in the world as being a criminal or with a tendency to commit crimes. So that was the wrong thing, and I think they jumped the gun really in just saying that let's have an FIR, let's have this, let's have that, and I think that was wrong. And two, I think they fell flat on their face when they all realized that oh, it was one of them only who was starting it off. It was a girl actually who was involved. Manav is the one case which we all are aware of, but there could have been 10 other people who would have lost their lives in the same time. And Swati Maliwal also should be taken to task for this, because they all made loose comments of various hues in that controversy. The girls who did what they did to Manav would also have been greatly encouraged by what was happening there. I mean, the hormones are same on both the sides, whether it's a boy or the girl side. So it's very, very possible that also the girls would have been motivated from that particular incident. When this boys' locker room happened, I distinctly remember Manav coming to the kitchen and telling his mom, "Mom, do you know like something like this has happened?" So mom told, "What is it?" And though I'm sure she must have known, but she wanted to hear from the son. He told there's something nonsensical happening like this, and I failed to see ye kya kar rahe hain. And I happened to come there also, and I told put your mind to always positive things. Put your mind towards always good things. Don't even think about this. And if you are following this, it's good to be aware. It's good and social media is a great place to to be aware, and you do get information. You also get a lot of misinformation. So absorb what is good and throw away the bad. And he said, "Dad, don't you know me? I mean." So it was a nice friendly banter we had then, and we never thought that something like that could be would become a part of our life in that period. We met the police on 6th, and on 6th we gave them some information. The information pertained to, let's say, details about so we gave police everything what we knew in the blind faith that they would really find something more about it. The police smiled. They took the information and they told कि बस सर हम अभी यहाँ से निकलकर वहाँ जाते हैं और उनसे बात करते हैं. They went there and something would have transpired there, and it doesn't need intelligence to understand what would have transpired there. And I can say more, but I will leave it at that at this point in time. Later on, the police tells us that to Punjab. Okay, so this happened on 4th. On 5th or 6th, they managed to send her to Punjab. So if that was the lockdown time, and I think in Punjab there was a curfew at that point in time, so somebody would have arranged for them the curfew pass, somebody would have given them permissions, somebody would have let go the vehicle through from here to Punjab, might be 10, 12, 15 checkpoints. So somebody actually allowed them to go there. Believe me, Arnas, if we had not pursued this case, not even the FIR would have been filed. Okay? In DLA phase 5, if a person throws a balloon, a water-filled balloon on a car, okay, an FIR is written. So is the value of a human child in DLA phase 5 lesser than that of the balloon? Would ask me, you tell me under which section the FIR can be done. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, I didn't have a lawyer at that point in time. आप मुझे बताइए कि FIR लिखनी है तो कौन सी दफा लिखनी है? I mean, how do you know dafa and gafa, yaar? I mean, that is for you to, I mean, I have a grievance. You please acknowledge that and you please do something about it. के बाद FIR तो लिख दी गई थी. But smartly, the FIR was written in the name of unknown people. Come on. I am telling you who the people are. I am telling you this, but you write the FIR in unknown people's name so that there's a wonderful loophole which you can use tomorrow. The FIR was against unknown people and there is no proof. But thank God, and thank Instagram, and thank mobile phones, and thank social media. Okay, there were a lot of screenshots we had, okay, of the posts which these girls had made. So there was a digital, the digital footprint somewhere out there. And so we had captured those. And in fact, one of the proofs which we had and which we gave to the police after we got hold of that got hold of it, that was a confession from, okay, saying that they are extremely sorry for what has happened. Puts another post after that. Please delete everything which I have sent to you till now. Okay. We went and explained to the police, please understand, she is not only putting this out, but she is also destroying evidence. So if there is a dhara for destroying evidence, that at least must be applied on her. The police had still not met them. Can you imagine? I think by this time 45 days would have happened. The police guys told in front of me to the police officer, a senior police officer, that when they went to meet, their parents did not let them. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the fact that the police can hear that from any criminal and come back. Still, nothing has happened. So then we decided that it's time for us to approach the court, because the police will, let me tell you, if we keep quiet, the police will not do anything on this for the next 10 years. Let these girls grow. They'll let these girls become majors, and these girls will go to Canada or to US or somewhere else. And then they will say, hey, what do we do? She's gone abroad and it can't be held.
And as of date today, what is the last court order? What does it say? Because I believe the court has instructed the police to present their report every 15 days.
We've had 9 hearings, not 1, 9. If the police does not understand what they are supposed to do, then there's judiciary to always point out, okay, this is the way it needs to be done. And they have instructed the police to give the progress of this case on a 15-day basis. Social media is not the place where you make any allegation, okay? Because it amplifies, the impact is amplified multifold. I think it is extremely wrong to judge people only on one-sided stories. In fact, I mean, look at it tragically. I mean, I'm supposed to be the father of the guy who's accused of rape. Yeah, it's not an easy thing, but everyone we have met, everyone who knows us, everyone Manav knows, all his friends, all his teachers, and everyone out there in the world. I mean, they all are extremely supportive of this. They trust and believe in Manav. I mean, girls have come up to me and told them that. I mean, girls who have seen Manav grow, girls who have seen Manav from the time he was in knickers to when he was 17 years old, that they have never felt insecure and unsafe in Manav's presence. Real justice for Manav is going to be when the deterrent is going to be strong enough so that we do not have to see another Manav happening ever again. The punishment or should be such that it should deter anyone from even thinking of taking this step. Otherwise, what can happen is if the punishment is not strong enough, then it's something like you can do it again and again and again. I mean, what prevents these girls from doing this after, let's say, 3 months? If they get away lightly, they will pick up their next victim, they will pick up their next bakra, and they'll slaughter him again. So I think the punishment has to be very, very strong, and by strong I mean whatever is the maximum possible under the Indian legal system today.